In 1992, a civil war broke out in Bosnia-Herzegovina, pitting the ethnic Serb population against Bosnian Croats and Muslims. This brutal conflict occurred within the framework of a great political fracture such as the Yugoslav wars, caused by the Great Crisis after the fall of the Soviet Union. The United Nations acted as peacekeepers in the region, and established a no-fly zone over the country, which prohibited the passage of military aircraft through it. However, the UN did not have the military power to satisfy this measure, so it coordinated an operation with NATO to carry it out. This is how the operation known as Deny Flight was born, an effort by the North Atlantic Organization that included patrols, air support for UN peacekeeping troops and bombardments of strategically valuable targets on Bosnian territory. However, one of the most remembered events of this ambitious operation was the incident in Banja Luka, when a squadron of North American F-16 fighters faced 8 enemy planes, belonging to the rebel Republic of Srpska, in a memorable combat that positioned NATO's air branch as the most important in the world, ending doubts about technological supremacy that had existed during the Cold War. Join us in a new episode of Military Aviation to learn about the incredible aerial combat during the Bosnian War. In 1992, at the beginning of the conflict between Bosnia, Croatia and Serbia, the United Nations tried to limit the number of military aircraft operating over Bosnian skies. With NATO logistical help, they launched Operation Sky Monitor, which was dedicated to monitoring and controlling violations of the no-fly zone established by international organizations. However, the threats were constant, and during this stage, there was a monthly average of 20 fixed-wing aircraft launching raids over Bosnia. Sky Monitor advocated passive surveillance, and NATO was not authorized to intervene or retaliate against violators. By April 1993, the Air Command of the Atlantic Alliance indicated that the transgressions were more than 500. At that moment, the UN realized that its passivity was not working in Croatia and Serbia, so it enabled NATO to take military action. Thus, the green light was given to Operation Deny Flight, which no longer only sought to record violations of the no-fly zone, but also allowed Western elements to actively intervene in the conflict. From this point on, not only military flights were banned, but civil aircraft were also subject to the restrictions, with only UN-approved aircraft allowed to operate. NATO, without hesitation, sent squadrons of F-16 Fighting Falcon fighters to maintain security in the no-fly zone, and within a very short time violations dropped from an average of 20 to an average of 3. However, in February 1994 an incident occurred that determined the effectiveness of Operation Deny Flight and, in fact, it would be the first air combat in the history of NATO since its creation in 1949. On February 28, 1994, the Republika Srpska Air Force launched a bombing attack on the Bratstvo military factory located in Novi Travnik, in the geographic center of Bosnia. To do this, they used 2 Soko J-22 Oreo ground attack aircraft, escorted by 6 Soko J-21 Jastreb light fighters. The planes went unnoticed until, by chance, 2 US F-16s from the 526 Black Knights fighter squadron operating in Italy detected 6 radar tracks on their instruments. They alerted the NATO command in Bosnia, but due to terrain conditions, such as the mountain peaks that ranged in the area, the NATO early warning aircraft was unable to detect the Bosnian Serb aircraft until they were within close range of its objective. The surveillance plane radioed a warning twice: "Land your planes, desist from your activities or you will be attacked." But the J-21 and J-22 ignored both warnings, and continued the attack. By then, the first F-16 Fighting Falcons, designated Knight 25 and Knight 26, had diverted from their course to intercept the bombers. 2 other F-16s, Black 03 and Black 04, were sent directly to the factory area to intervene in the attack. After completing the bombardment of Novi Travnik, the Bosnian Serbs turned and headed back to base, but 10 minutes later, they were intercepted over Banja Luka by American fighters. An F-16 piloted by Captain Robert G. Wright located the first J-21 flying at an altitude of 1,500 meters, and with excellent aerial capacity, fired an AIM-120 AMRAAM at it, which destroyed the Jastreb, killing its pilot. The rest of Srpska's planes dived to the ground, intending to use the mountainous terrain to their advantage to avoid radar detection and thus flee from the Americans. But Captain Wright had no intention of letting his enemies go. The pilot accelerated his F-16 Fighting Falcon and got within close enough range to catch up with the AIM-9 Sidewinders. He used the heat detector to target his enemies, and, with 2 well-aimed rounds, shot down 2 more J-21 Jastrebs. In a cold analysis, we could say that the Bosnian Serbs never had a chance against the Americans. The Jastrebs are aircraft born in 1965, and have a subsonic speed, with a maximum of 940 km per hour, while the Fighting Falcon not only had more modern and up-to-date technology, having entered service in 1978, but their maximum speed at low altitude is about 1,482 km per hour, considerably higher than that of the J-21. Wright continued in pursuit, while his partner, Captain Scott O'Grady, provided cover from above. As the battle continued, O'Grady descended to Wright's height and fired an AIM-9 Sidewinder at another Jastreb. A glitch in the missile system prevented it from hitting accurately, though it severely damaged the J-21's tail. Both pilots found themselves close to reaching their fuel limit, and before passing the point of no return, they turned around to refuel in a KC-135 Stratotanker orbiting over the Adriatic Sea. Although Black 02 and 03 had to give up the pursuit, they were replaced by Knight 25 and 26, who picked up the battle where their teammates had left off. The first, piloted by Captain Steve Allen, managed to position itself behind a Jastreb that was flying at low level, almost skimming the ground. Allen located his target and fired a Sidewinder, which mowed down the enemy before he could escape. However, the Knight's fuel was quite low due to their diversion from Croatia, so they also had to stop for refueling in the Adriatic. The rest of the Bosnian Serb planes managed to escape, and Air Command awarded 3 kills to Captain Wright and 1 to Captain Allen. Although the Republika Srpska Air Force declared the loss of 5 Jastrebs, in addition to 3 pilots killed, so it is believed that the J-21 hit by O'Grady's misfired missile could have fallen. Thank you very much for joining us until the end. Stay tuned for our next video.